Right now, you're either the predator or the prey. There's no in between. The prey waits for opportunities, hoping things will work out. They follow rules they never questioned, hesitate when decisions matter most, and react to life instead of shaping it. They work hard but never smart, always one step behind, watching others take the wins they could have had. But the predator creates opportunities. They see beyond the noise, move with precision, and act before anyone else realizes what's happening. They don't wait for permission. They dictate the game, control the flow, and force others to play on their terms, ensuring they win every time. High-level thinkers don't just work harder, they see reality differently. They move first, think faster, and stay ahead while everyone else scrambles to keep up. They never wanted you to think like a predator. From birth, you were programmed to follow, obey, and doubt yourself, trained to stay in line, while the real players rewrote the rules in their favor. The truth. You were never meant to win under the system they created. You were meant to serve it. Right now, you're either in control or being controlled. Most people live their lives like pieces on someone else's chessboard, blindly following rules they never questioned. They wake up, go to work, chase goals they didn't set, and call it life. But deep down, you know something's off. Ever feel like you're playing a game you never signed up for? Like no matter how hard you try, you're running in place? That's not a coincidence. That's design. You've been conditioned to accept limits that don't exist, to chase success the slow way, while the elite move in ways you were never taught. But here's what they never wanted you to realize. You don't have to play by their rules. You can rewrite them. The world's most powerful minds, fighter pilots, Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI agents, chess grandmasters, aren't just talented. They think differently. They see moves before anyone else. They manipulate the game before it even begins. And once you learn how they do it, you'll never see reality the same way again. This isn't theory. This isn't motivation. This is a tactical advantage that separates the predators from the prey. If you don't master the predator mindset, you're already falling behind. Let's start by addressing one core fact. We humans absorb scripts from the day we're born. Your family, your teachers, the media, they all unknowingly played their part, drilling the same instructions into your subconscious. They tell us to play it safe, work hard, but not too hard, to wait your turn. Success is rare, money is scarce, and don't question the rules. And so you didn't. You accepted the script as truth. You followed the invisible track laid out for you, believing that if you just checked the right boxes, you'd eventually get ahead. But here's the part they never wanted you to realize. That script wasn't designed to make you successful. It was designed to keep you manageable. Look around. The people who truly win, the ones who control industries, who shape world events, who seem to bend reality itself. They don't follow the same rules you were given. They don't hesitate. They don't doubt. And they sure as hell don't wait for permission, because they know something you don't. The game isn't fair, but it is hackable. Right now, your mind is cluttered with limits you never chose. You've been trained to hesitate, to second guess, to overthink. And because of that, every challenge feels like a wall, every obstacle like a dead end. But what if you could delete that hesitation? What if you could see openings where others see barriers? What if you could move with such confidence and precision that doubt wasn't even a factor? That's how elite minds operate. When a fighter pilot takes control of a jet at speeds that defy logic, he doesn't waste a single thought on, can I do this? He's already programmed himself to push limits most people can't even comprehend. His mind is clear, his focus is absolute. When an FBI agent faces a life or death situation, he doesn't freeze. He doesn't let fear cloud his judgment. He doesn't second-guess the intelligence he's gathered. He trusts his process, adapts instantly, and takes control before anyone else even knows what's happening. When a chess grandmaster sits across from an opponent, he doesn't see chaos. He doesn't see a crowded board with no options. He sees 10 moves ahead, setting traps, dictating the entire match while his opponent is still reacting to the last move. When a world-class striker steps up to take a game-winning penalty in the final seconds of a championship, he doesn't think, "What if I miss?" He blocks out the noise, silences the doubt, and executes with the precision of a machine. He's already scored in his mind. The ball is just following his command. When a billionaire chief executive officer is about to close a multi-billion-dollar deal, he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't negotiate from a place of fear. He walks into the room knowing he's already won because he's outmaneuvered his competitors long before they even realized they were playing. When a surgeon is operating in the final seconds of a life or death procedure, he doesn't let the pressure consume him. He doesn't let panic interfere. He locks in, lets muscle memory take over, and performs with the precision of a sniper. And when an elite special forces soldier walks into an enemy-controlled zone, he doesn't feel fear. He becomes the fear. His mind calculates every possible threat. His senses are heightened, and before the enemy even sees him, he's already won. This is the difference. The weak hesitate, the elite execute. The weak get consumed by pressure, the elite thrive in it. They have shattered the limitations of ordinary thinking. They don't play the game everyone else is stuck in. They see the game from above. And now you have a decision to make. Because the life you're living right now, it isn't a reflection of your true potential. It's a reflection of your programming. Script that was handed to you before you had a choice. A script that's been running on autopilot, shaping what you believe is possible, what you believe you deserve, and how you see yourself in the world. And once you realize that, you can rewrite it. At first, that might feel uncomfortable, even terrifying, because it means taking full responsibility for your reality. But the second you accept that you're in control, everything changes. This isn't about wishful thinking. This is about warping reality to your advantage. In this series, you'll learn the foundation of the predator mindset, a way of thinking so powerful, it will erase hesitation, dismantle your limiting beliefs, and make confidence your default state. You'll discover how to see opportunities where others see obstacles, how to bend the rules of the game before anyone else even realizes the game is changing, how to move with the precision and dominance of a grandmaster, while everyone else scrambles to keep up. This isn't just about winning, it's about never losing. You're about to step into a new way of thinking, where you don't just react to reality, you create it. By the end of this journey, you won't just believe anything is possible, you'll know how to make it possible. Look around. Every road you drive on, every role you play, every choice you make, it's all governed by rules. Some are obvious, like traffic laws or workplace policies. But the most powerful rules, the ones that dictate how you live your life, you can't see them. They're invisible, woven into your mind before you ever had a chance to question them. You were programmed to obey them, to follow without thinking, to believe that what's normal is also what's true. But stop for a second. Who created these rules? Who benefits from you following them? Because the moment you start asking those questions, the game changes. Most of what you believe about success, money, and opportunity isn't based on truth. It's based on tradition. a script passed down from generation to generation, taught in schools, reinforced by society. You were told to be realistic, to fit in, to wait your turn. You were trained to see risk where high-level thinkers see opportunity. You were conditioned to fear failure, while the elite use it as a stepping stone to dominance. This isn't because you lack intelligence or potential. It's because you were taught not to test the limits. And when you don't test limits, you never realize they were never real in the first place. The people who actually win in this world don't think like the masses. A fighter pilot doesn't panic when the sky turns against him. The average person would freeze, but he follows a different script, one built on precision, clarity, and control. He trusts the process while everyone else collapses under pressure. A world-class soccer player doesn't play the game the way amateurs do. He doesn't chase the ball. He predicts its movement, manipulates space, and forces the opponent into checkmate before they even realize what happened. A billionaire investor doesn't think in terms of money. He thinks in terms of leverage. While the masses work harder for every dollar, he positions himself to make millions in a single move. While most people react to the market, he shapes it. That feeling of being a piece on someone else's chessboard, of running in place no matter how hard you try, comes from playing by these invisible rules. It's a game you were taught, but not one you have to continue playing. What if you could stop reacting and start creating? What if you could learn to see the game from above, just like those high-level thinkers? You can. It begins not by working harder, but by rewiring the very way you see the world. Your brain is home to a powerful gatekeeper. It's called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS for short. Think of it like a search engine for your reality. Whatever you tell it to look for, it finds. It's the reason why, the moment you decide you want a red car, you suddenly see red cars everywhere. The cars were always there. Your focus just changed. Most of us go through life with our RAS set to a default program. It's been trained by old scripts to look for obstacles, to notice scarcity, and to confirm our deepest fears. If you believe good opportunities are rare, your RAS will filter out every chance that comes your way, leaving you with only the evidence that proves you right. You're not unlucky. Your search engine is just running the wrong query. But what if you intentionally gave it new instructions? What if, every morning, you decided what you wanted your brain to find? This is where you move from being a passive observer to an active architect of your experience. You can train your mind to hunt for advantages, to spot hidden solutions, and to see pathways where you once saw walls. Micro-habit 1 scene. The morning command purpose. To deliberately program your brain's filters. The RAS to find opportunities instead of obstacles. Shifting your reality from the inside out. The moment you wake up, before your mind gets cluttered, state a clear command out loud. Not a wish, but a directive. Say something like, "Show me one way to move my goal forward today," or "Make me aware of a connection I've been missing." Signs you're doing it right. You start noticing things you previously overlooked. A comment in a meeting sparks an idea. An old friend's post seems newly relevant. A gut feeling feels more like a clear signal. Common pitfalls: being vague, "I want to be successful," or treating it like a passive wish. Your command needs to be an active, specific request for what you want your brain to hunt for today. T-back. This practice directly counters the feeling of being stuck running in place because you are actively telling your mind what to look for instead of letting it default to old, limiting scripts. Imagine a skilled photographer walking into a chaotic room. While most of us would see a mess, the photographer instantly spots the perfect angle, the way the light hits a single object, the hidden story in the corner. Their eyes are trained to see potential. That's what you're doing for your mind. You're training it to find the signal in the noise. This isn't about pretending challenges don't exist. It's about training your focus to find the way through them. After all, what you focus on expands. So, what will you choose to focus on today? Once you start directing your focus, the next step is to change the way you think about decisions. Most people think one step ahead. They ask, what will happen if I do this? But the most effective thinkers in the world, the chess masters, the top investors, the military strategists, they don't stop there. They think in cascades. They ask, if I do this, what happens next? And after that, and what are the unintended consequences 3 moves down the line? This is called second-order thinking. It's the difference between playing checkers and playing chess. In checkers, you react to the last move. In chess, you're shaping the board for a victory that your opponent won't see coming for 10 more turns. Think about a simple decision, like taking a new job. First-order thinking focuses on the immediate benefits, higher salary, better title. Second-order thinking asks the deeper questions, how will this new commute affect my energy and family time in 6 months? What skills will I build here that will open doors 5 years from now? Does this company's culture encourage growth or burnout? It's about seeing the ripple effect of your choices, not just the initial splash. Micro-habit 2 and then what? Inquiry purposely to move beyond short-term, reactive decision-making and develop the strategic foresight of an elite thinker. How to for any significant decision you face this week, pause and ask yourself, and then what? 3 times. First, consider the immediate consequence. Then ask, and then what? To uncover the secondary effect. Ask it a 3rd time to see the long-term ripple. Signs you're doing it right. You start catching potential problems before they arise. You make choices that align with your future self, not just your present desires. You feel a sense of calm control, knowing you've considered the full picture. Common pitfalls: rushing the process or only focusing on negative outcomes. The goal is to see the full chain of consequences, both positive and negative, to make a wiser choice. Tie back. This habit pulls you off of someone else's chessboard, where you only react, and positions you as the grandmaster of your own life, thoughtfully planning your moves ahead. But what about when you don't have time to think 10 moves ahead? What about those moments of high pressure when a decision has to be made right now? Fighter pilots have a mental model for this. They can't afford to freeze when an enemy is on their tail. They use a framework called the OODA Loop: observe, orient, decide, act. Gather information from your environment without judgment. What are the facts? Orient. Make sense of that information based on your past experiences and goals. This is the most crucial step. It's where you analyze the situation. Decide. Choose the best possible action based on your orientation. Execute your decision with commitment. Most people get stuck. They observe a problem and then jump into an emotional reaction, skipping the orientation and decision steps. Or they get stuck in analysis paralysis, endlessly orienting without ever deciding or acting. The person who can cycle through the OODA loop faster than their opponent, or faster than the situation changes, is the one who gains control. Think of a tense negotiation. You observe your counterpart's body language shift and observe. You realize it signals uncertainty, not anger. Orient. You choose to soften your tone and ask a question instead of pushing harder. Decide it. You then calmly ask, it seems like something about this isn't sitting right. What are your thoughts? Act. You've just controlled the room while the other person is still processing their own feelings. Micro-habit 3. The 1-minute OODA purpose: to train your mind to make clear, fast, and effective decisions under pressure, cutting through hesitation and emotional reactivity. How to: the next time you feel overwhelmed or pressured, take 60 seconds. For 15 seconds, just observe the situation as if you were a neutral third party. For the next 15, orient yourself. What does this mean for my goal? What's the most important factor here? For the next 15, decide on one single next step. For the final 15, commit to act on it. Signs you're doing it right: you feel a sense of clarity emerge from the chaos. Instead of feeling frozen, you feel capable of taking a small, productive step. The feeling of panic subsides because you have a process. Common pitfalls: getting stuck in the observe phase, overthinking, or skipping straight to act S, reacting impulsively. The power is in moving smoothly through all 4 steps. Tie back: this tool directly deletes the hesitation that keeps you feeling like prey, allowing you to move with the precision of a predator, even when things get chaotic. Of course, none of these mental models work if your emotions hijack your brain. The single biggest factor that separates elite performers from everyone else is their ability to stay calm when the stakes are high. It's not that they don't feel fear or stress. They do. But they've learned how to interpret those feelings differently. When your heart starts pounding before a big presentation, your body is releasing adrenaline. You can label that feeling anxiety, which leads to a shaky voice and a clouded mind. Or you can label it excitement or readiness, which leads to a dynamic presence and sharp focus. The physical sensation is the same. The story you tell yourself about it is what changes everything. Navy SEALs, surgeons, and world-class athletes all use a simple tool to manage their physiology in these moments: tactical breathing. When you consciously control your breath, you send a direct signal to your nervous system that you are safe and in control. Panic cannot coexist with slow, rhythmic breathing. Micro-habit: tactical box breathing purpose: to gain immediate control over your body's stress response, allowing you to stay calm, focused, and clear-headed in high-pressure situations. How to: before a stressful event or whenever you feel anxiety rising, practice this for 1 to 2 minutes. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 4. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 4. Hold the exhale for a count of 4. That's 1 box. Signs you're doing it right: your heart rate begins to slow. The mental fog starts to lift. You feel a sense of groundedness return to your body, as if you've dropped anchor in a stormy sea. Common pitfalls: rushing the counts or breathing from your chest instead of your diaphragm, so your belly. The breath should be deep, slow, and deliberate. This technique shatters the feeling of being consumed by pressure, giving you the same tool used by elite operators to thrive when the stakes are highest. Your mind is like a garden. If you don't intentionally plant flowers and tend to them, weeds will grow all on their own. These micro-habits are how you plant the seeds of focus, clarity, and control. Without them, the weeds of doubt, hesitation, and fear will inevitably take over. Which garden are you cultivating? Ultimately, all the strategies in the world mean nothing without one final ingredient: execution. You can have the best plans, the clearest mind, and the calmest nerves, but if you don't act, you are still standing at the starting line. Hesitation is the silent killer of dreams. It's the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. High-level thinkers have a bias for action. They understand that it's better to make a move and adjust course later than to wait for the perfect moment that never comes. They see action not as the final step, but as the fastest way to gather information. A failed attempt isn't a catastrophe, it's data. It tells you what doesn't work, so you can more quickly find what does. Think about it. Every person you admire for their success didn't get there by thinking about it. They got there by doing. They launched the messy first version of their product. They had the awkward conversation. They took the first step into the gym. They didn't wait to feel confident. They acted their way into confidence. Micro habit 5. The 24-hour rule purpose. To close the gap between idea and action, building unstoppable momentum and training your brain to execute instead of procrastinate. How? The next time you have an important idea or feel a spark of inspiration, you must take one small physical action on it within 24 hours. It doesn't have to be a huge leap. Just send the email, make the phone call, write the first paragraph by the domain name. The action itself matters less than the act of starting. Signs you're doing it right. You feel a shift from passive thinking to active creating. The goal feels less intimidating and more real. You start building a track record with yourself as someone who follows through. Common pitfalls. Choosing an action that's too big and intimidating, which leads to more procrastination. The key is to make the first step so small it's almost impossible not to do it. Tie back. This rule is the ultimate antidote to waiting for permission or the right time, forcing you to create your own opportunities just as a predator does. This all leads to the most profound shift of all, the shift in your identity. You don't just do these things. You start becoming the person who does these things. You're no longer someone who's trying to be more decisive. You are a decisive person. You're not trying to be calm under pressure. You are a calm and centered person. Your identity is built on the evidence of your actions. Every time you use one of these habits, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. One vote might not seem like much, but over time, they accumulate and build an undeniable new identity. You start to see yourself as the creator of your life, not just a character in it. Micro habit 6. The identity statement purpose. To consciously define and reinforce the identity you are building, making your desired traits your new default setting. How to write down a simple, powerful, I am statement that reflects the person you are becoming. For example, I am someone who acts with calm clarity, or I am someone who sees opportunities everywhere. Read it every morning and every evening. Signs you're doing it right. When faced with a choice, you start to instinctively ask, what would a person like this do? The statement begins to feel less like an affirmation and more like a simple fact. Your actions start to align with it automatically. Common pitfalls. Creating a statement that feels completely unbelievable or inauthentic. Start with something that feels like a slight stretch, not a giant leap. I am becoming can be a powerful bridge. Tee back. This practice rewrites the core programming that has shaped your world, replacing the script handed to you with one you have chosen for yourself. Your environment will either support this new identity or fight against it. It's hard to become a high-level thinker if you're surrounded by low-level conversations, distractions, and negativity. You must curate your world to protect your growth. This doesn't mean you have to cut everyone out of your life, but it does mean you must be intentional about what you consume, the content you watch, the people you listen to, the conversations you engage in. Does your environment demand the best from you, or does it permit you to stay small? Answering that question honestly is one of the most courageous things you can do. In the end, this journey isn't about becoming a predator in the aggressive sense. It's about reclaiming your own power, your own agency. It's about waking up to the fact that you are far more powerful than you've been led to believe. The game of life isn't happening to you. It's responding to you. It's waiting for your next move. What will it be? The payoff, the core principle, is this: your reality is a reflection of your focus and your standards. Where your attention goes, energy flows, and what you consistently do shapes who you become. You are not a passive character in a pre-written story. You are the author, holding the pen. The difference between feeling powerless and feeling powerful is not a massive, unattainable leap. It's a series of small, intentional shifts in how you think, decide, and act each day. For the next 7 days, I invite you to try a simple practice. Each morning, before you look at your phone, take 60 seconds for a power up. First, state your morning command out loud to direct your focus for the day. Then, practice 1 round of tactical box breathing to center yourself. Finally, read your identity statement to remind yourself of who you are becoming. This 2-minute ritual costs nothing, but it changes everything. It's your daily declaration that you are in control. You are the one shaping your day, not the other way around.